What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas, and welcome to a very special edition of The Awakening World. Tonight we are remembering Hiroshima, acknowledging what humanity is capable of in a hurtful way, but also looking at all the amazing things that humanity is doing to create peace in the world. And we have an amazing group of people joining us tonight. I'm very, very honored. And I want to start by welcoming our audience. I want to welcome all of you in our Zoom room. I see a lot of our familiar friends who are with us. And it's always fun if people put into the chat box where you are geographically, even if you do it every weekend. Thank you, Eleanor and Lynn and Leaf and all of our regulars who do it every show. It's just great to know where you're coming from. And I want to welcome everybody watching on our Facebook pages. Thank you to John and Summer Raymer, who through the Sign Network get us out to as many as 100 Facebook groups and pages. Also, a big hello to all of our friends watching on Unify. It's especially fun because our friends on Unify are from all over the world. So again, Unify friends, Facebook friends, let us know where you're coming from geographically. And know that this is a very participatory show. We're going to have a roundtable conversation towards the end. We're going to take questions, comments, and make it interactive. So for those of you that are watching on the YouTube channels or on Facebook, come on into the Zoom room with us. It's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, just like what's behind me, globalpeacetribe.com, and register. And once you register, you're going to get the links to all of the Awakening World shows. And we do 3 a week, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. All bringing people like you and me tonight, remarkable luminaries who are helping us to be inspired, to be informed, and to take the action that we need to create peace in the world. So welcome, everybody. I want to take a moment to just briefly introduce who we've got with us tonight, because we've got a wonderful group of people. And you'll get longer introductions for each of them a little bit later on in the show. But my co-host, she's been on the show before, but making her co-hosting appearance, it's Fumi. Fumi from Peace Polls and the executive director of the Peace Poll Project here in North America. We love Fumi. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for calling us all together, your global peace tribe here from around the world, to really listen into this important issue of nuclear disarmament. And you opened up a beautiful song that says, "Be informed, be inspired, awaken." And that is what we are here to do, to inspire, inform, and awaken you to this very critical topic we're going to discuss together. So thank you. I'll try to do my best job to be your co-host, Scott.
You're doing fantastic. And you can start off by introducing Bishop Swing. Tell us a little bit about this wonderful gentleman.
I would love to. Hello, Bishop Swing. Welcome.
Good
And
evening.
thank you for jumping in. I know that this is a big day for you. It's August 6th, and you have declared this day as Nuclear Prayer Day. And so many people around the world have mobilized and have created this big tsunami of love and light to go out to the world, to raise our voices for a world free of nuclear weapons. So we're so honored to have you, Bishop Swing, founder of United Religions Initiative. And so please speak to us about your passion and especially about today, Nuclear Prayer Day.
Right. Thank you so much. One of the phrases that's used again and again is about a nuclear war. Nobody can win it, therefore it should never be fought. And that's perfect. But go one step farther. Why should it never be fought? And that's because we've created weapons that go beyond us. It's not a matter of Pakistan versus India or America versus Russia. It's bigger than that. What's the final confrontation when it comes to nuclear weapons? And that the enemy is Earth. We know that when we let them go, the last great gift is this planet with just enough oxygen, just the right temperature, just the right amount of water for a little bit of time or a lot of time, could be wiped off. People, and I included, are very excited about the James Webb Space Telescope that allows us to see back toward the Big Bang, the creation of the stars and planets, and we're getting closer that way. And then we're also looking the other way. And we on Earth are wondering, gee, I wonder if there are any other planets with people, with human beings. But wait a minute. Maybe some people are looking at us as a planet, not as it is tonight or today or whatever time it is. But the light that comes from our planet right now, maybe somebody picks it up in 3 or 4 billion years from now. And they'll be looking at us and saying, gee, I wonder if there's ever been life on that planet. I wonder if there's any, can we see water? Did anybody ever live there? It's the trouble with nuclear weapons is that the enemy is not a country, the enemy is Earth. And everybody knows that when we blow them up, we blow everything up. We keep on modernize the weapons, make them bigger, we have more. It's not America and Russia, it's 9 countries and other countries waiting in the wings to jump on board. Where the catastrophe, it's beyond national security, it's beyond nations, it's beyond everything. It has to do with the end of the earth. It has to do with the beginning of the earth. And therefore, the final word is not the bomb. The final word is God, or the creator, or the source of life in the universe. It's not a matter of affronting or Russia. It's a matter of affronting the creator of the universe. It's a matter of the blasphemy of what we could do to the earth. We can do some really bad things and kind of wake up in the next morning and there's life. The sun comes up. But with nuclear weapons, you don't wake up in the morning. Nothing wakes up. The sun doesn't come up. There's no there. So nuclear weapons drives us to prayer. It drives us into the big dimensions. It drives us into time and space and the creative force at the center of the universe. And we're toying around with these weapons. And I don't mean to belittle anybody right now who's in New York working on the non-proliferation treaty. Thank God for these people. They sit there and work at it. The formula is terrific. The way that people dodge the formula and the intent and the spirit is wily like a serpent. And therefore, we have to be people of prayer. And prayer means, that's just a big word that has to do with when you see your child just about run over by a car, something in you just wells up and you just go. Oh my God. That's what nuclear prayer is. Oh my God. Whatever is stirring in you, we're not going to solve the nuclear prayer, the nuclear bomb stuff unless we go deep into the heart where you say, oh my God, nuclear weapons. And therefore, it's a prayer. It's a cry. It's a birth pang. It's a death rattle. We call it a nuclear prayer. How do we get a nuclear prayer? We have a bunch of people who sit around every month trying to see what we could do about nuclear weapons. And we started praying together, and I wrote a prayer, and we started praying the prayer every week. Well, you're going to see in a minute, so I'm not going to tell you all about it. You'll figure it out. It does a better job than I do. Anyway, we're voices-uri.org. We're in business. We got a website. We're consistent. We're there. We're there all the time. Come see us, visit us. Let us educate you. Let us inspire you. Come on, join us. Give us money. Whatever you want. We're there for you, and we're there for the earth. We're there to pray. So I'll be quiet now and let you watch what we're talking about.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us, Bishop Swing. Thank you so much.
My privilege.
Each month, I have the great privilege of hosting a small group of diplomats, scientists, lawyers, religious leaders, and all of them are deeply involved in international nuclear weapons negotiations. I'd like you to meet these people, and then I'd like you to hear the prayer that we say whenever we get together.
I am Bill Perry. I'm a professor emeritus in the engineering school at Stanford University. I was the 19th Secretary of Defense of the United States, and before that, the Director of Defense Research and Engineering. My experiences through the years with nuclear weapons have made an indelible impression on me and convinced me that these immensely powerful weapons threaten no less than our own civilization. This has led me to make the primary task of my life working to ensure that they will never, ever be used again.
My name is Sidney Drell. I am a scientist, a physicist. Beyond my academic teaching and research career, I have spent many years as an advisor to the United States government on technical national security issues and nuclear weapons in particular. I recognize their almost unimaginable destructive potential and their capacity for destroying the human race. This is a capacity far beyond what we were created to acquire, and therefore I believe and work to get rid of these weapons as soon as practical before they destroy humanity.
My name is George Shultz, former Secretary of State under President Ronald Reagan, and this is my own prayer. Dear God, Please bring common sense and divine guidance to our work on the problems that nuclear weapons pose to our world. Man has invented a means to destroy us all. We must eliminate these weapons in order to preserve a sane and peaceful world. We pray for your help as we work toward this goal.
I am Ambassador James Goodby, and the bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki have shaped my soul and my professional life, from my participation in the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty to my present efforts at seeking to dismantle, jointly with the Russians, the nuclear weapons legacy of the Cold War. President Kennedy said, "Here on Earth, God's work must truly be our own." I think that God's work is to rid the world of the present nuclear threat.
I am Monica Willard. The issue of eliminating nuclear weapons has shaped my life as a peace activist and as the representative of the United Religions Initiative to the United Nations. Knowing that nuclear weapons can be used by choice or accident, and that they have the capacity to destroy our planet and everything we love, calls me to action. A world without nuclear weapons is protection. For the love of our children, grandchildren, and future generations, for the beauty of the natural world, for a safer future, I offer this prayer.
I'm Jonathan Granoff. As a young man interning for a congressman, I met then Senator Robert Kennedy. He told us how close we came to destroying civilization during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He told us that eliminating nuclear weapons before they eliminate us is the practical and moral litmus test of our time. For many decades since, I've worked as an activist, an international lawyer, and a human being to rid the world of this threat. We need each other to do this, and we need God's grace.
I am Ambassador Thomas Graham, first with the Soviet Union, and later with countries all over the world. I have participated in arms limitation policy development and negotiations on behalf of the United States of America. Always, the overarching objective has been to control and eventually eliminate all nuclear weapons. And although much has been achieved in the past 70 years, the sword of mass destruction still hangs precariously over our heads. As long as there is breath in my lungs and urgency in my heart, I intend to do all in my power to banish these ungodly weapons from the face of the earth.
The beginning and the end are in your hands, O Creator of the universe.
And in our hands you have placed the fate of this planet.
We who are tested by having both creative and destructive power in our free will
Turn to you in sober fear and in intoxicating hope.
We ask for your guidance, and we wish to share in your imagination as we deliberate about nuclear force.
Help us to lift the fog of atomic darkness
that hovers so pervasively over our Earth, your Earth,
so that soon all eyes may see life magnified by your pure light.
Bless all of us who wait today for your presence
and who dedicate ourselves to achieve your intended peace
and rightful equilibrium on Earth.
In the name of all that is holy and all that is hoped. Amen.
Amen.
Today, the doomsday clock stands at 3 minutes till midnight, the highest level ever recorded. Instead of global alarm and efforts at reduction, the opposite is happening. Nuclear nations are quietly gearing up to modernize and create new and more powerful nuclear weapons. Rogue nations are neglecting their citizens in favor of advancing their nuclear status. Rogue terrorist groups are frantically trying to obtain nuclear materials and weapons. Nuclear weapons are built to be used sooner or later. But rather than stepping back from the brink, the world is dashing to plunge over the cliff. In this moment of nuclear madness, what can we do? The nuclear experts whom I know pray. They live into the direction that their prayers take them. They become advocates, and they join with others to build a global voice of nuclear abolition. We invite you to do the same. Our little group is called Voices for a World Free of Nuclear Weapons, and we are part of the United Religions Initiative. If we can help you find your voice, feel free to reach out to us at uri.org. In case you think that your moral, spiritual voice is in the minority, please know every major religious group in the world has called for the abolition of nuclear weapons. Follow the prayer that is in your soul. Raise your voice. Save the world.
It's a very, very powerful video. I noticed one of the people in the chat box said, "This is scaring me." And we want to find that balance tonight because it is terrifying. It is terrifying. And a little bit later, pretty soon, we're going to hear from people that were impacted, second, third generation from Hiroshima. But I think since we just saw this very powerful video, I want to actually ask Omashar to just play a little music to help us to kind of drop in and integrate what we just saw. And again, thank you very much, Bishop Swing, for being with us. And we're going to hear from Jonathan Granoff, who you saw in the video a little bit later on in the show. I'm really grateful that Jonathan's with us. Omashar, I'm going to turn it over to you, brother.
Hope springs eternal in this heart of mine, learning surrender, learning to fly, and knowing you're with me, my invisible friend, loving me onwards, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one love. that we're divine. My heart is open, my heart is thine. I give my life to you, your hands in this world, open and flowing, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the Maker of my I will sing praises to the Maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one love, one life.
Thank you, beautiful, beloved brother Omar Shar. And it's good to see so many of our beloved members of the Global Peace Tribe. I've got it on gallery view for a minute here. I love all these beautiful faces, all these beautiful beings. And we are going to, go back and forth tonight between looking at hard things and also feeling the inspiration from music from Omar Shar and several other musical artists that are with us tonight. Inspiration from the people that are making a difference in our world, like we just met Bishop Swing. And if you do want to know more about the wonderful work he's doing, obviously I think that video really impacted us. This is the website. I have put it in the chat box for our Zoom audience. It's voices-uri.org. Voices-uri.org. And that's where you can see the founders, including Jonathan Granoff, who's with us tonight, and of course, Bishop Swing, who we just heard from. So a very powerful group of people making a difference, people who really have an understanding of what's going on in our world. I'm going to turn it back over to my co-host, Fumi. Fumi, I'd love for you to share a little bit about the wonderful work that you're doing, and then I know you're going to introduce a video to help us to remember Hiroshima. But again, if anybody doesn't know Fumi, she's the executive director of the May Peace Prevail on Earth organization. Originally based in Japan, she was instrumental in introducing the peace movement to the world in the early 1980s. She initiated the Peace Pole Project in the United States, opened up the society headquarters in New York, and she serves as a U.S. representative of the Mount Fuji Sanctuary and Goi Peace Foundation in Japan. And she's somebody that anybody who knows Fumi, we all love her. She's a very, very special soul. And thank you, Fumi, for being with us.
Thank you for welcoming me, Scott. And when August comes around, I get quite emotional and I might get emotional right now talking about it, because I remember my grandmother, my Japanese grandmother, talking to me about World War II and how she survived all the bombings that happened in Tokyo, which was quite intense. And she was not in Hiroshima, but she is also, I consider her a survivor. And, my father being American, I always questioned, why did my father's country bomb my mother's country? And that was a question that just always I was confronted with, and it troubled me greatly as a child. So I made a promise that when I grew up, I would become a bridge between East and West, especially between US and Japan, and that, to really serve this mission of world peace. So I got very fortunate. When I was 21, I saw a sticker that said, "May peace prevail on earth." And when I found out that this movement started in Japan, I had an instant knowing of what my mission would be for the rest of my life. And I think all of you here have similar stories of why you are so passionate about the work you do. And especially all of us here on Hiroshima Day, what this means to us, and what we have to do together, united, in our efforts to create a world without nuclear weapons. And I know we're going to hear from many of you, and I look forward to that. I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine, Toshiko Tanaka, who is a first generation Hiroshima atomic bomb survivor. And this is a short video of her experience. And I think it's time to bring her in and listen to, her story, and really take this deep into our heart and be inspired by this, to continue our work for a nuclear-free world. And toward the end, you will see some artwork. Those are she's an artist. So you will see her enamel glass artwork in the end. I thought it would be really nice to see her artwork in this video. So thank you, Scott. Let's watch and listen to Toshiko.
Hello, my name is Toshiko Tanaka. I survived atomic bombing in Hiroshima on August 6th, 1945, when I was 6 years old and on my way to school at 8:15 a.m. Somebody shouted, "B-29, the enemy bomber!" I looked up and saw a tremendous flash. I was burned and exposed to radiation. The pain was incredible. I cried my way home, but our house was ruined. My mother could not recognize me. My hair was burned. I was covered in ash. My clothes were destroyed. Many doctors were dead. There were no hospitals left. Whether we lived or died was entirely up to one's physical vigor and luck. I remember going into the house and seeing through our largely damaged roof a small patch of blue sky. Although in pain, I thought it was so beautiful. That blue sky stayed with me. It had given me the will to live even until today. It took only 1 second for a single bomb to destroy the city of Hiroshima and 140,000 lives. All my classmates were killed. My young aunt left home that morning and never came back. Every image of that terrible day remains. My generation will be the last to tell you about this event as direct witnesses. I started to suffer from symptoms of radiation when I was 12. Nobody on this planet should suffer the same tragedy. So I have one request for people. Please make many friends throughout the world. If we have close friends from around the world, we will think twice before starting wars that seek personal prosperity and supremacy. Nuclear weapons will lead the Earth to destruction. They are inhumane and should never have been allowed on Earth. There are many people working tirelessly for a nuclear-free world. For instance, ICAN is a global campaign to promote abolishment of nuclear weapons. For decades, I wished with all my heart that the United Nations would make a treaty banning nuclear weapons. On July 7, 2017, the world took the essential step it needed towards peace. My goal now is to unite people around the world behind this treaty. Together, we can pressure Japan and the UN Security Council to take future steps toward peace with us. I know one day we will live in a nuclear-free world and a beautiful blue sky will continue to shine above the heads of our future generation. Thank you for your kind attention.
It's a beautiful video. I'm sorry that the audio was so low, everybody. But hopefully you got the feeling and the energy, read the words. Just a heads up to Tammy and to Tez. I think it would be really nice for us to drop into a meditation now because we've really been impacted by these two videos that we've seen. And so, and this is one of those shows where we're kind of following, we're having to be a little bit fluid because of the way things are flowing. And it's just one of those wonderful shows, but welcome everybody. It's beautiful to have all of you with us. Fumi, would you like to introduce Tez? And then I'll have Tez introduce Tammy.
Oh, I would love to. Tez is my dear sister, so devoted and committed to her work for creating a peaceful world. She is executive director of Pathways to Peace, which our dear, dear sister Avon Madison was the founder of for many decades. But she has taken the torch and is carrying forward the vision of the founder, Avon, and also adding so much beautiful energy to this incredible work of Pathways to Peace. She just finished a program right before she came on, intergeneration dialogue for on Nuclear Prayer Day for peace to prevail on Earth. Thank you so much for all you do, Tez. And I think we're going to call upon Tammy also.
Yes, I can do that.
Oh, you will introduce Tammy?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Welcome, Tammy.
So, Fumi, thank you. I just love you so much. I am just so grateful for you, all of who you are and what you do in our world. Yes, just so grateful. And so I will introduce Tammy in just a moment, and you'll hear more from Tammy later as well. But I'm honored and privileged to drop into a meditation in a moment, Scott. But first, let me say that what I draw from the video and from our beautiful survivor and her story is really how we can take a tragedy, the worst, most horrific tragedy, and turn that into a dedication for peace, as our Japanese brothers and sisters have done. And so I feel hope. I also want to say that I know that we are more powerful than we even imagine. And I don't mean the kind of power that's power over. I think you all know that it's about the power within and among that we can bring to bear on this, this really most critical issue, the elimination of nuclear weapons. And I know we can do it. I know we can do it. And I believe that our prayers, our meditations, our heartfelt intentions, they change our destiny. And because we were born to create and be in co-creation with everything that is, it's time now for us to take action and create that world free of fear, free of nuclear weapons, that world at peace. And we can do it. We have all we need right here. And as we bring our prayers, our meditations, our intention, and even every loving thought, then when we bring that into our world, it shifts the consciousness of the planet, and peace prevails on earth. And so, again, Scott, thank you for asking me to do a meditation. And I'm going to briefly introduce Tammy, because I know she's going to have some time later in the program where she can talk about what she knows and the power of the harp to bring peace to our planet. But Tammy came to, I'm just going to tell the story I know, Tammy. So, and it's Tammy is Musical Reflections. That's her organization. And she has written a book about that she can tell you more about. She has brought herself, her voice, and her talent to Pathways to Peace about 18 months ago, even though we both agree we've known each other forever. And so when in bringing in her hopes, dreams, and her talent to the table, Tammy has really enhanced and enriched all the work of Pathways to Peace. And one of the things we love to do together is to have her play while I drop into a meditation. We know that it enhances the experience and the effectiveness of the meditation. So I'm going to ask Tammy to begin playing. And I'm going to ask all of you to just imagine yourselves totally resting in the arms of the divine. Just allow your bodies to sink into that beautiful love, that beautiful nurturing, that place of healing from the myth of separation. Just allow yourselves to rest. We're going to breathe a little bit more slowly and a little more deeply. If it helps you to count, you can do 5 counts on the inhale and 5 counts on the exhale. And for just a little while in this sacred, holy space, we're going to breathe together. The one heart, the one breath. And when you feel comfortable, I would like you to focus on the center of your chest, the seat of the heart. You can't do it wrong. Just bring your attention to that middle of your chest and allow your breath to come in and out through that heart space. Just relax into it. with every breath, just feel your heart expanding. That love, that nurturance, that unity, that beauty that is who you are and resides in your heart. Just let it expand. Feel that love, that nurturance, that unity, one with all. Just feel that in every pore, in every cell, as your heart expands. Allow that beautiful heart energy to just fill you as it nurtures and loves you. See it and feel it. Rest in it. Allow it. And now your whole body is filled with that beautiful heart energy. And now you feel it coming off of your fingertips, out of your crown chakra into the heavens, out of the bottoms of your feet, going deep into Mother Earth. You stand erect with outstretched arms, energy flowing in all directions, perfectly erect between heaven and earth. And see that energy coming off of your body, out of those fingertips, leaving your body, but staying there, just expanding beyond the body, going out into the world, our world, and see that everything that is being touched experiences that love, that light, and that healing. There is no sorrow, only peace, only love, only light, only unity. Feel the power of your love as it nurtures and touches everything, instantly transforming it. And feel that interconnection, that knowing that we are one with all that is. Rest, rest in that knowing. Rest in that feeling. Know the power you have to create and transform. And when you're ready, you can bring all that loving energy back into this holy space, knowing you are loved, knowing you are supported, knowing you are protected beyond your wildest imagination. knowing you are peace. Thank you.
So much, Tez. Thank you, Tammy. It's beautiful. Tammy's going to play a little music for us a little later on in the show. And then both Tammy and Tez will be participating in a roundtable conversation we're going to have in a little while. But I do want to, she mentioned Pathways to Peace. And some of you know all about Avon Madison. She was on my Saturday Night Alive show last year. And 2 weeks later, she passed away. And she's already, I think, achieved saint status in our Global Peace Tribe, World Unity Week, global family here. She's very special. And Pathways to Peace is a powerful, wonderful organization. Thank you, Tez, for carrying on. And again, everybody, I really want to encourage you to go to pathwaystopeace.org, pathwaystopeace.org.
Thank you, Scott.
We're now going to hear from Jonathan Granoff. And you saw him in the show, in the video, I should say. And I'm going to take a moment to introduce him. And Fumi, is there anything you'd like to add about, I'll let you lead. Is there anything you'd like to say about Jonathan first?
Well, I have known of Jonathan. Jonathan, if you remember, we met in Arosa, I believe, and we were together in Kazakhstan. Was it Kazakhstan at the beautiful peace event? And I've known your work for so long. And what I know about you is that you are a spiritual initiate. You are a deeply spiritual man, yet you are also involved and engaged in the world of diplomacy. You're an international lawyer, an international activist. So you bring your spiritual energy, quality, passion into a world where it's so needed, especially now. So, I love that about you, Jonathan. And so we're really happy to have you because you've been such a spokesperson for the abolition of nuclear weapons, and you have so much to share and educate us on. So thank you, Jonathan, for being with us. Welcome.
And I'll say just a few words about kind of his more background. Jonathan is the president of the Global Security Institute. He's an attorney, an author, an international advocate, emphasizing the legal and ethical dimensions of human development and security. His specific focus is on advancing the rule of law to address international security and the threats posed by nuclear weapons. And I really appreciate, Jonathan, how you balance kind of that level of intensity with your spirituality. And I loved how you shared the 99 names of God. There's several that I had never heard before. So I just want to acknowledge that beautiful balance of being in the world and also being, clearly a bodhisattva. So thank you for being with us.
This is a day of prayer. We will have to have another day of action, and action has to be based on understanding and strategy and knowledge of the world. But morally informed policies that are not practical will dissolve into mere sentiment. And policies that are allegedly practical without moral coherence are dangerous. So it's where the practical and the moral come together is where we have to meet. And we are the first generation in which the moral admonition of the wise to see the human family as one has become a practical necessity. The third lung that we share of the phytoplankton of the oceans, 50% of our oxygen, cannot be solved at the level of nation or religion or gender or race. It's a global lung. The climate doesn't have borders. Pandemics don't have borders. The financial system of the world doesn't have borders. This neighborhood that Jesus spoke of, to treat your neighbor as yourself, is a moral location today, and it is the whole world. And this is new. And it is a practical necessity now. And there is no hurdle as severe as the nuclear weapon that prevents us from having the cooperation necessary to take care of our planet home, to take care of our lungs, to take care of the water that we need. Because like nothing else that humans have created, it institutionalizes terror. Deterrence means terror. When people are afraid, if you're not afraid, you're not awake. Deterrence means with terror. That is what deterrence is about. And we are but moments away from accident, design, or madness to ending this gift of life. Since 2000, when the nuclear weapon states pledged an unequivocal undertaking to eliminate all nuclear weapons, they pledged that at the meeting of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The world has spent in excess of $30 trillion on military expenditures. And the main pillar of those expenditures are nuclear weapons. As Joe Biden once said, don't show me your values, show me your budget. These devices of death, as my political mentor said, Alan Cranston, are unworthy of civilization. George Kennan, who was one of the most insightful of our leaders in foreign policy during the Cold War, said it clearer than anyone I've ever heard. And wasn't it interesting to see Secretary of State and a Secretary of Defense praying with us? The readiness to use nuclear weapons against other human beings, against people we don't know, whom we've never seen, whose guilt or innocence is not for us to establish, and in doing so, to place in jeopardy the natural structure upon which all civilization rests, as though the safety and perceived interest of our own generation were more important than everything that has taken place or could take place in civilization. This is nothing less than a presumption, a blasphemy, an indignity of monstrous dimensions offered to God. So as a very, very basic thing, and I'd love to have a meeting where we talk about the tools that we have to change this. But as a minimum, we should be asking every political leader, what are you doing to get rid of nuclear weapons? It's not a partisan issue. Richard Nixon brought us the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Ronald Reagan was a nuclear abolitionist. But there's an enormous amount of money spent to keep this off of the public sphere. That's another discussion. But every one of us could be asking, because the President of the United States ran on a ticket of no first use, to pledge never to use them first. But we don't have that as a policy because he doesn't have the voices backing him up. He has our hearts. I know him, his heart is with us. This is a man of virtue, a man of compassion, but he doesn't have the wind in his sails because we've been in the closet. Everyone's come out of the closet and they have a right to come out of the closet. We have to come out of the closet. People who really believe in the power of love. We need to shine it. I'm going to end with a prayer, and my expertise is in treaties. I'm a neophyte in prayer. I've just seen a few grains of sand on the beach, but I want to share one of them. That Nagasaki and Hiroshima be the last use of a nuclear weapon. That nuclear weapons never be used, oh dear God, guide us to eliminate these devices, the apex of creative evil, and all devices of massive, indiscriminate death. Please guide us. Each of us came into this world responding to our mother's love. Each of us came here seeking family and love. Each of us became identified with nation, gender, religion, and forgot we are one human family, and every person is as precious as we are. But still, in the stillness in our hearts remains a light of the soul, seeking, resonating, and longing for that love that brought us into this world. That love awakens and informs our universal humanity and awakens hearts without borders. Intelligence has given us insights into the wondrous secrets of matter, energy, space, and time. Fear, ignorance, arrogance, pride, hatred, and prejudice have led us to use these insights to create devices of incomprehensible power to inflict indescribable suffering. Please, dear Lord, creator of every life, every heartbeat, every blade of grass, every moment, every one of us, universes and galaxies beyond counting, and mysteries beyond imagination, O glorious source of love and life, forgive us for forgetting you and your infinite blessings. Friend within all friendship, love within all loves, life within all lives, witness of all and everything. Bless us with the wisdom that comes from compassion, such that we will skillfully eliminate these devices of death. Guide us to use the gift of intelligence to heal, sustain, harmonize, understand, glorify you, our humanity, and honor your creation. Guide us to end the suffering of poverty, to protect nature, to love one another, and remove ignorance from our hearts. Grant us hearts of gratitude and courage, such that we will not falter in bringing peace and beauty and unity into your human family. Help us eliminate these devices of horror and the motives from which we create them. Please guide us in beautiful ways of peace, such that our lives be witnesses to your goodness. Guide us with kindness, love, and the gentle hand, that we might become fully human. All praises are yours. All praises are yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan, before you go, I would like for you to just share with us a little bit about the Global Security Institute. This is Jonathan's organization that he's working with, gsinstitute.org. gsinstitute.org.
Sure, sure, I'd be glad to.
Yeah, tell us, how can we
So
work?
it was started at a meeting in San Francisco in the room where the UN Charter was signed. With myself, people that were at that meeting were General Lee Butler, who had been head of the targeting and readiness of the entire arsenal, and had an epiphany when he went to Russia and realized the humanity of Russians. Richard Butler, who at the time was head of the UN Special Commission Disarmament Saddam Hussein. George Bunn, one of the main drafters of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Mikhail Gorbachev, and Senator Alan Cranston. So President Gorbachev is now on our board of advisors, as is Jane Goodall and Oscar Arias and Rigoberto Menchu-Tum and people like that. And so it was started because we realized there wasn't a sort of professional organization focused on the tools of diplomacy and the rule of law and the abolition of nuclear weapons. Why? Because that's not exciting. You know, it's not the same as, I'm on Jane Goodall's board, and it's exciting to save chimpanzees, children, and forests. It's fulfilling. It's fulfilling to be in Pachamama and save the planet, save the living forests. The nuclear weapons, the tools that you do that are legal instruments, treaties, and things like that. And the issue is not the issue. The issue demands a sense of purity that you can't see the results so quickly. So we felt we needed to create such an organization. So Senator Cranston passed away, and actually Senator Biden and Senator Kerry came to the board and said, don't fold this. So I folded my law practice. And since that time, I've devoted myself to being a lawyer for future generations, focusing on the tools that we have. So we have a program called Parliamentarians for Nuclear Nonproliferation and Disarmament, which is about 700 parliamentarians in about 80 countries. It's nonpartisan. Ed Markey is one of our co-presidents in the United States. The Nonpartisan Security Group, two of the members of that were in the prayer, Ambassadors Goodby and Graham. And so our focus is on trying to utilize the tools of law and diplomacy. But as Bishop Swing has reminded me very powerfully, the secret sauce is the power of spirit. The secret sauce that's missing is people who are truly, truly inspired, have got to see this issue as key and understand this is the hurdle because the institutionalization of fear and adversity creates a cycle of militarization, which reinforces the cycle of fear. Of course, the first step of disarmament is our own hearts. And as our hearts disarm, the paradox is, as our hearts disarm, our fear diminishes, our courage expands, because courage that rests in spirit is infinite, because you know that you are forever. So this is a new phenomena because this is a new time. But the tools of law and diplomacy are the tools through which nations speak. So I am personally deeply engaged now in trying to change the paradigm from military nationalism to human security. And I'm doing that with an organization called the World Academy of Arts and Science, which was started by Bertrand Russell, Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer, to try and change that paradigm. And part of that change is the elimination of nuclear weapons. But we have to move to a human security paradigm. And that's what our unity is about.
Beautiful. Just a reminder for everybody to keep themselves muted because we're hearing somebody's noise.
I thought you were telling me to stop. Let me just finish about human security.
No, Jonathan, that wasn't me. So please continue. Oh, but now you're muted.
In the 17th century, when people in Central Europe were slaughtering each other over whose definition of Jesus' love was superior, a bunch of wonks, like the people in the Global Security Institute, got together in a place called Westphalia and wrote a bunch of paper that said, we're going to make nation states. We'll make Protestant nations and Catholic nations, and they'll stop killing each other. That's the origin of the modern state. So we created states in order to express our values and serve for peace. Now we have needs that transcend the capacity of the nation state to address. Pandemics don't carry passports, neither does the climate. So we need to have a framework that says nation states can only serve their people with a global cooperative system. And that's true. And I've lectured all over, I've been lectured at China and Russia. People do understand this. They do understand this everywhere. It is an awakening. It is an awakening. You don't see it in the newspapers, but we know it in our hearts, because this is the time in which the moral imperative found in the Upanishads over the parliament in Delhi, the world is one family. This truth has now become necessary, and human security is its expression. So you'll be hearing a lot of that. There's an effort to mainstream this concept in the way 40 years ago, when we talked about development, there was no adjective of sustainable. Now that's mainstream. Development used to be just expanded GDP, global, just pure economics without sustainability. Security has been too much defined by military. It now needs to be defined by human. And that's our work, to bring our humanity into action. So the tools of law and diplomacy and the energy of pure love, nothing can stop that.
Jonathan, thank you so much. It's really an honor to have you with us. And I hope you get a chance to read all the comments coming in the chat box because you've inspired a lot of people.
I'm going to try. I gave a speech yesterday in the General Assembly Hall of the UN, and I will try.
Like that. I'm being careful.
People, please mute yourselves.
Actually,
I'll try and post it.
There.
I'll try and post it because I did my best to bring this message into a hall where the meeting of 191 nations. And there's a need for there needs to be more people doing this. I mean, there's a lot of people. Look, there's 115 nations in nuclear weapons free zones. There's a treaty to ban nuclear weapons. There's the International Court of Justice has unanimously ruled there's a duty to negotiate elimination. The law is on our side. And as you could see, there's plenty of gravitas on our side. What is missing is the wind in the sails of our political leadership. We have got to get this message to the people. And we are the people we've been waiting for. We are the people whose hearts and consciences say, we don't judge a lot of things. And we're not judging people. We know that people have these weapons because they want to bring peace to the world. That's the irony of the whole thing. There's not bad people. They're just mistaken. Just like people were mistaken in the 17th century when they fought to the death over whose definition of Jesus' love was better. And we all know that the characteristic of that love turns all of them into just us. And that's the justice of just us.
Jonathan, you're right on. And I know that our people are really enjoying what you're just saying. Again, one more time, I want to encourage people to please go to this beautiful website and if you go to the home page again, it's there's Parliamentarians for Nuclear Non-Proliferation and Disarmament. And I've put into the chat box a little bit about Jonathan and his websites. And again, it's also the Global Security Institute. So it's gsinstitute.org, gsinstitute.org. And that's where you can learn all about it. And, let's donate, let's put in our money, let's put in our support. There's a lot of different programs that we can join. This is important. At the very least, please at least subscribe. But let's all maybe take an action. Subscribing is a good first action to take. I'm doing that right now, obviously.
Thank you.
But let's also donate, everybody. Jonathan, you're doing really, really incredibly important work. And again, I'm honored to have you on our show, and thank you.
Anytime, it's my honor to be with people who have hearts without borders is as healing as any other medicine that exists.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think, Jonathan, we're going to go to a little poetry. There's a wonderful woman who's kind of new to our Global Peace Tribe. And her name is A. Marie B. Thomas Brown. And so we're going to, she's been creating poetry for kind of specific shows. She did one for 99 Days of Unity, World Unity Week, and she's with us again. Welcome. It's good to have you back with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. Good to be here.
And again, many of our regulars know her, but for anybody who doesn't, A. Marie B. Thomas Brown is the author of Reformation of a Nation, the United States of Remembrance, and she facilitates 12-month self-studies in conjunction with this book that she's written. She's a spoken word artist. She hosts an international virtual open microphone called Poetically Speaking, Many Voices, One Breath. She's a certified Reiki master. She does sound healing, chakra clearing, numerology, a certified doula, a breath advocate, and we are blessed to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much.
On this nuclear prayer day, may the nucleus of our prayer be peace as we breathe. Like second nature, may we carve the core center where plutonium once embodied pandemonium, once singed trees whose saplings now sing a song of continuum beyond detonation. We are peoples of one nation with opportunities to move beyond planned annihilation and informed consent, beyond the Manhattan Project, the thin man and little boy over 130,000 people in its employ, and just as many lives lost, man, woman, boy, and girl, mushroomed into a world history, casualties, apostasy, opportunities. Now we breathe. Now we remember as the pain simmers, we stir the joy embers, embracing the sorrow, sadness, and grief to imbue global clarity. As passion burns deep on bended knee with joined hands we stand, one heart, one nation, one core being peace. Love ushering us into release as we crest on the dawn of a new day. In the midst of fear, we find courage to hope in God, source creator. Love never dies. As we co-create in remembrance that moves us to compassion, conscious action, our source essence, magnifying the highest call of humanity to remembrance. Deep calls to deep. On the inhale and the exhale, we breathe. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. In the soliloquy of histories, may we see the opportunity to engage and bridge peace in our hearts, in our minds, a global rewind, reminding of the call to restore posture that lends itself to life preservation in all its forms. Hiroshima and Nagasaki reborn from the atoms of regeneration, oxygenated hibernation awakened. The surviving trees, the elemental progenitors of peace that our eyes now see. Transmuting history, this day we give, our daily bread forgive, O light, love, and unity. Our hearts cry eternally, let there be, and so we breathe. Educating our hearts to hope in prosperity, in meditation, embracing the lessons of the past, declaring free at last as we bridge the gap to our destiny, our ancestors, our children, here now, having been ready to lead with our hearts energetically, spiritually, heart-centered, unity-driven, and we breathe, creating pathways to heal the womb, to see the transition awakening to what is now in position amidst this global peace mission through every heart and hand mending, lest we forget the healing balm that we all embody. We are who we have been waiting for. All is not lost. We are still here. Cultivate sustainable passion. We are called to action. Raise the vibration through peace as we breathe. And may we remember that this is not done, that we are yet one, that this is our work to do, and we will.
I'm going to go to gallery view and let's just all give a little twinkle and appreciation to this wonderful woman who has been blessing us with her poetry. And I put her information and how you can reach her on Facebook. A. Marie B. Thomas Brown. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Fumi, and she's got something really special that's she's going to introduce.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, we have 3 guests from Hiroshima with us now, and they would love to offer a special prayer and mudra on this nuclear prayer day. So, Scott, there's 3 of our friends. And before they begin, I'd like to say that May Peace Prevail on Earth was authored in Japan by Masahisa Goi after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he asked the people of Japan to send an important message of peace out to the world from the country that has suffered the atomic bomb. And that was a mission of Japan to send this big message of peace out to the world. So since then, this message has become an international message of peace, with so many people planting peace bowls and embracing this message. But I see it also, every peace bowl standing out there, and Scott, I know you have one too, but every peace bowl is a visual for peace and also a voice for a world free of nuclear weapons. So we're so honored to have, Mr. Tominaga and Keiko, and where is Otani? Miharu-san, is she here?
She was here a few minutes ago, but now she's not in the room anymore. So she must have dropped off. Yeah, I've taken a look. She was there a few moments ago, but then she's disappeared. So we've got your two friends here.
All of us here, this is the Hiroshima team. They're May Peace Prevail on Earth members in Hiroshima. And for the past 30 years, they have been organizing the annual Hiroshima Day memorial from in front of the atomic bomb dome. And just yesterday was August 6th in Japan, and they organized a beautiful, beautiful presentation. And the highlight was the ringing of the peace bell at exactly the moment the atomic bomb fell on the city. It was just moving, with, hundreds of people joining us at that moment to send a big, big message of peace out to the world, for a world free of nuclear weapons, for peace to prevail on Earth, and also to embrace the oneness of humanity. So congratulations to both of you for a beautiful event. And here is Miharu-san, Scott. There she is. So beautiful. So I'm going to pass it on to these beautiful peacemakers from Hiroshima. And let's just take in all of their prayers and their beautiful energy. So I pass it on to Keiko Nakamichi.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Keiko Nakamichi. I'm here with friends from Hiroshima. It's a great honor and a great pleasure to be here. So thank you for having us. Thank you so much. On this Hiroshima Memorial Day and the Nuclear Prayer Day, we would like to share our prayers for peace to prevail on Earth. We will say the prayer for world peace in Japanese and English, and then offer the Divine Spark Mudra for the awakening of humanity. So please join us if you wish. はい。世界人類が平和でありますように。May peace prevail on earth. はい。Infinite gratitude. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keiko and Mr. Tominaga and Miharu. So thank you for your prayer in movement, a moving prayer, and all of the work you do on the ground in Hiroshima to host the annual event, and for your work continuously for peace to prevail on earth. Thank you so, so much.
So much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to go to gallery view, and I just want to invite everybody to send their appreciation, their blessings to our brothers and sisters in Hiroshima, and recognizing how beautiful it is that we truly are the Global Peace Tribe. And on Unify, we have people from all over the world watching right now: Sweden and Australia and Canada, and of course, America. So we are the Global Peace Tribe longing for peace. Thank you. And thank you, brothers and sisters in Hiroshima. I'm going to turn it over to Tammy to play a little music. We'll get a chance to hear her speak a little bit more during the round table. But while you play, Tammy, I'd just love for us to integrate what we learned from Jonathan, what we just experienced with our friends from Hiroshima. And let's use this musical interlude as a moment to integrate all that's taking place tonight. And then it'll be Chief Phil Lane next.
Wonderful. So it is an honor and a privilege to be with you all, whatever time of day it is for you. In 1987, I lived in Kyoto, Japan, and I had 6 host families. And on August 6th, the family that I lived with took me to the Hiroshima Museum. And that experience left a very deep, painful mark on my life. And it's one of the things that has really made me want to work for world peace in the world. And one of the things that I see as a balm for healing is music, of course. And the harp is a very, very powerful instrument, even though it's very gentle. It's very paradoxical in that the gentleness is also where the power resides. And it's also vibrational. So the song that I would like to share with you is called Peace Blessing. And I know when Scott did the introduction in the very beginning, he talked about how we're going to be bridging from the pain and the sorrow of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and moving into some hope. And I would hope that this song is one of those bridges to move us into some hope. Peace, blessing. And while I play this, I would invite you to sit comfortably and let the music touch you wherever you need to be touched.
Mm. Thank you so much, Tamara. That was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Phil Lane, are you with us? I'm looking through all of our people
Yes,
here
I
for
am.
you. There you are.
Damn.
Ah. Oh, Phil, what do you think of what have you heard that's touched your heart tonight?
Well, it's all been touching my heart a long, long time. From the time I was a young boy, my father told me not only what happened on August 6th and August 9th, 1945, but the context of this incredible devastation of so many children, women, and elders, very few military targets hit. So I'd like, if I may, to give some context to what happened on August 6th and August 9th, 1945.
Yes, please do.
Yes. Well, 1942, the first bombings took place on Tokyo by the Doolittle raid, 16 B-29s. And of course, at that time, we were engaged as well in Germany. But of course, Germany surrendered on May 8th, 1945. But right before that, on March 10th, 1945, the US sent 279 B-29 Super Fortress bombers that dropped 2,000 tons of incendiary bombs on Tokyo, covering 16 square miles on what they call paper cities. It's the most massive firestorm ever in history. During that time, and not only then, but then up to 100 cities of Japan had been firebombed, cities as small as 60,000 people, killing estimates minimum 333,000, up to 900,000 relatives, leaving homeless 1 million Japanese. I mean, we're talking about, in fact, they said when these 279 B-29s dropped these 2,000 tons of incendiary bombs on Tokyo over 16 square miles at 500 feet. That's how defenseless our Japanese relatives were. 500 feet. They said that the red mist coming up and the stench of burning bodies was so intense, they had to put on their oxygen mask for not vomiting. So this began March 8th, 1945. And after that, of course, where then up to 100 cities were firebombed. In quote unquote, they called them paper cities. Now, this is the same thing, by the way, that happened in Hamburg, Germany, where they firebombed all these relatives. So, you know, the idea that somehow August 6th and August 9th, where somehow the turning point is not the reality of it. There had already been hundreds of thousands of Japanese burned alive before those bombs were ever dropped. Way more in those two times. And I remember my father said, a little boy, he said, son, every time you hear about it, he says, you know, son, we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to do that. They were already devastated. Now, you know, I understand some relatives had their fathers who told me when I put this up on the internet, on my Facebook, had their fathers in the Philippines, and they were still fighting there. But really, they'd already completely devastated Japan, completely devastated. So 129 to 225,000 people killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were really small compared to what had already been done, and the devastation across Japan. And, you know, I want to say that, you know, to Tanaka, Toshiko, and to all our relatives, on behalf of my father, I want to give my heartfelt apologies for what's been done. Heartfelt apologies to each and every one of you. And I want to say this too, to my sister Fumi, I know what it's like to have I have both Dakota and Chickasaw background, but I also have French, Irish, and English background as well. So I know what it's like to stand in the middle of this conflict. I know what it's like. And Mitakiapi, what really touches me, and if all of us have to look at, is the fact that out of all this that happened, these relatives of our human family, they stood up for peace. They carried peace on earth, made peace prevail, despite what happened. And I'll tell you this too, what they did here, the same kind of consciousness did right here where I stand on Turtle Island was no different. And what really makes me sick and hurt is the fact that right now, let alone every other place that this has happened, 400,000 children in Yemen are on the verge of starving to death. A policy supported by both Democrat and Republican governments, where all the food has been stopped coming into Yemen. And their little children, it was just a CNN I watched seeing this. Can you imagine 400,000 children? Yes, we are, I believe, in a place, if we don't wake up, we're going to see it again. Not only are we sitting on this conflict that's deepening in Ukraine and Russia, not only there, but as well with Iran, China over Taiwan, and of course, North Korea, which is more likely going to have another nuclear test coming up and getting ready. So Mitakiepi, my heartfelt feeling, number one, is we have to understand, as all the beloved relatives have said, as Jonathan said, everybody said, we are one human family. In fact, we've always been one human family since this universe has been created, no matter what form we might have taken to this day. We've always had that dimension of ourselves that goes beyond time and space. Our soul has always been here, and we've been part of it. So that's number one. We are one human family, and the hurt of one is the hurt of all, including all of creation, especially our really animal relatives who hardly get mentioned, who hardly are ever mentioned, and we devastating them, killing them, raising our children. And I feel also, I want to express my heartfelt to all those veterans who were told they were going to defend our great democracy, or whoever they've been, and have come back devastated. Higher rates of suicide during COVID than ever before. And yet, then they have to fight and fight and fight to get some kind of compensation for what they believed they were doing to protect our families. And yet when they come back here, they are treated like dirt. So I understand, I'm feeling pretty strong about this. I feel my father's presence here. I can remember so many times. So again, my heartfelt apologies, not only here, but I remember I had the opportunity when President Eisenhower came to dedicate the McNary Dam. My father took me there and put it on his shoulders at that time. And he warned us about the military-industrial complex. Look at the trillions of dollars are being spent to destroy other human beings. So we better look inside our own souls right here, in this Turtle Island. We better look right inside here. At the same time, our sacred prophecies, which I believe in with all my heart and soul, have told us. And this we have to hear and understand. On one hand, we can hear the death pangs of an old dying mother. On the other hand, if we listen closely, we hear the birth cries of the new being born everywhere all at once. So mitaki epi, my beloved relatives of our human family, it's time for us to join together with one heart and one mind and many bodies and stand up to unify and understand the spirituality of the oneness of our human family, to end war, and I believe to begin peace on earth by 2030. And this is not somebody else's agenda. This is the indigenous people and our prophecy agenda, that this is going to happen. And that's what I want to stick around and see happen. So I want to do two things to conclude. I want to say a prayer for unity, a short prayer, and I want to sing a song in honor of all those children and women, men, elders who have been devastated. And we hold a big responsibility right here in what we've done. Look around the world, Afghanistan, on and on, on and on. I'll say this prayer for unity. I really pray with all my heart and soul, how much longer do we have to suffer as a human family before we wake up? Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal unto them thy great purpose. May they follow in thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. In this song from our White Buffalo Catholic, the foundation of our indigenous worldview as Dakota people, blesses and recognizes through our sacred pipe the sacredness of the mineral people, the water, the earth, all our plant relatives, including those in the ocean that are being killed, coral reefs, and all our animal relatives that are being destroyed, as well as the sacredness of all our human beings, that everything in this universe, everything here is sacred, as we are, each and every one of us. I want to close as our way at our Dakota people. Shungmano hemeado, chinupasaba hemeado, haulibi chante washte, which means my name is Shungmano and Chinupasapa, and I stand responsible fully, as each and every one of us are, before the Creator for my words and my action. Haulibi chante washte. And I thank you so much, my dear sister Fumi, for what you've done. And Brother Scott, Brother John, both Johns who are here, all of you, for this is the time. We are those ones we've been waiting for. This is the time for us to arise as never before, as prophesied, with one heart and one mind and many bodies. And as I want to change this from my dear relative, Tashunka Wiko Crazy Horse said, he used to say, if we run into battle, Hokahe, it's a good day to die. I'd say this, Hokahe, it's a good day to live. On behalf of our 7 generations yet to come, and on behalf of those 7 generations who are with us right now, closer than our closest vein, they're right here, including all those, by the way, that left us in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and the fire bombings, and everything that's happened. There's no death, just a change of worlds. So Mitaki Abi, thank you so much. Honor and pleasure to be with each and every one of you. Aum Shanti Washti.
Brother Phil, you move us so beautifully. We love you so much. I do want to remind people about a couple things. Brother Phil has a beautiful organization. It's the Four Worlds Global Impact Fund. And he has been working tirelessly to raise resources to design, develop, and implement the foundation and initiatives that empower the global emergence of indigenous peoples and the dawning of a new global civilization, founded on the principle of justice and oneness of our human family and all life. And so please support him. That is the sdgimpactfund.org. And that's how we support the Four Worlds work that Phil is doing. And it's really easy. There's lots of ways that you can donate, even cryptocurrency. Also, I want to let people know that Phil is going to be with us again next Friday night on The Awakening World. And it's going to be a really special show. We're going to be talking about understanding epigenetics and what it really means to honor our 7 generations, both past and forward, understanding the true power of taking into consideration our celebration of the 7 generations of ancestors who have created this incredible world that we live in, that have given us the freedom that we have, that have given us the abundance that we have, and to pay it forward by now using that freedom, using all the blessings that we have to create the world that we all want, a world of peace. So Brother Phil is going to be with us next Friday night, along with my co-host Trish Wright, and a very special guest, Krista Mora Collins, who has been studying epigenetics. So that's next Friday night on The Awakening World. So I'm grateful we get a double dose of Brother Phil and your wisdom and your passion and your profound love for humanity.
Thank you, my dear brothers, and all the relatives here. My beloved
I knowing that tonight was going to be pretty powerful and passionate, I've scheduled extra music, more music than usual, because it's always good to just, like, after hearing Brother Phil and hearing his passion and his tears, hearing Jonathan Granoff, hearing Fumi, hearing our friends from Hiroshima, it's good to have music to integrate. And so it's my pleasure to bring on Fanny and Vigari, 2 of our favorite ongoing musical performers who are coming to us from Canada. And thank you, Fanny and Vigari, for being with us. And go ahead and introduce what you're going to play first.
Yes, of course, we are quite honored to be part of this, and quite moved and touched by Brother Phil and by everything that's gone on tonight. We're going to do a song called Siren's Dance, and basically it's a series of chants about listening to nature spirits and also listening to voices that come from within, voices that remind us that deep down, beneath all of the outer troubles of the world, deep down we are divine beings, and we need to remember that we have this divinity within. That's a basic part of who we are, and we need to honor that with our actions, with our words, our deeds, our actions.
And through water we do. Through water is divine connecting us to the earth and the sky. So go deep within and Sirens Dance.
go to gallery view for a moment is just give them some twinkles and lots of love. We love Fanny and Vigari. We love them. And they're going to close us out tonight. Our final experience is going to be a final song from Fanny and Vigari. And, let's support our musical artists. And a wonderful way to support Fanny and Vigari is to buy their music. And they have several albums now that are on Bandcamp. I put the link into the chat box. And they are known on Bandcamp as the Mystiques 1111. And they've got now Siren's Dance, along with Awaken, Star Child, Magic in the Air. So let's always support our musical artists. I've bought their music and I love it. It's wonderful to be able to play. So you don't have to wait until Saturday night to hear them play. You can actually own it and have it on your computer or your device. Thank you both so much. And we will see you in a little while.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to Fumi to introduce a new guest, new to the Awakening world, Barbara Newsom.
Yes, I'd like to welcome Barbara. And when I first met with Barbara, she talked to me and shared with me the story of her father. And this is why she is so devoted to the abolition of nuclear weapons. Her father spent 1 year in Nagasaki right after the bomb fell on that city. He went there to serve as a United States Navy medical doctor for 1 year. So can you imagine the experiences he had, the relationships that he cultivated and created and experienced with all of these Japanese people he worked with, he met, and even the patients that he treated. Just such a moving story and experience that she carried all the way through. She's still carrying that legacy now. And so she has a lot to share with us. So Barbara, please tell us your story and share us some words about your father and your experience.
Thank you, Fumi. And when I speak today, my first acknowledgement is always the same to anyone who is listening, who has relatives in Nagasaki and Japan, who experienced the war that my father also experienced. First, I say thank you for all you have done for world peace from the beginning. And now it is our great honor and privilege as second and third generations, along with those still living, to carry on the work that was started those many years ago, 77 years ago. And the time is now. And so I say thank you from the bottom of my heart as an American. And I say I'm sorry as an American. The pain and the tragedy of nuclear weapons' effects on human beings is unspeakable, and the pain is hard to bear. I learned to bear it in a loving family who were people of faith and peace before the war began. My father's dream, as his father's dream, was to have a public health clinic in a small town in his community. He wanted to bring more health and healing to the world. And he was in medical school when the war broke out. And the only way he could continue his training was to become a Navy officer, to go to the Pacific at the end of the war in 1944, where the fighting was intense everywhere. And Dad was on with the 2nd Marine Division on a battleship. So even before he entered Nagasaki, seeing for the first time ever the effects of nuclear weapons on human bodies and on plants and on structures and on all living creatures, where there were no doctors and hospitals close by. The pain of that, for those who were there, all of them, lives on in our multi-generational legacies of trauma. That's why I'm so grateful today to have our Japanese relatives, our brothers and sisters in Japan with us. This is the most hopeful thing that is happening right now, is this worldwide friendship where we can meet one another, in my case for the first time. It is what is going to continue in these loving relationships to do what the families of the Hibakusha have done in their families, and what my family has done with atomic victims and veterans throughout our lives, to the best that we were able. And a very wise woman, I want to also talk about her and her work, Dr. Yael Daniele in New York City with the International Center for Multi-Generational Legacies of Trauma, is doing wonderful work for all of us who have experienced the traumas of war and recent wars as well, so that we find one another as we're doing tonight, and that we can support one another to be a voice of hope. Fumi gave me this wonderful background, and I'll keep using it because this is the hope of the Hibakusha. This is the beautiful peace grain origamis that are made that show the real hope. It is real hope of the world that we have right now. And this is something every family can do. All your kids can do it. It's a way to bring peace in art and peace in music and so much of the sharing that we're all now doing. This is the hope of the world. And for me, my own story, oddly enough, followed my dad's. Very early on, I was invited to research nuclear weapons effects on humans for the Department of Defense. 1970. So I live 24/7 with the consciousness of the things that strike fear into people's hearts. So I also thank everyone who is listening to this program. From those of us who work with nuclear science and materials, we thank you for your support in what Jonathan mentioned, which is the morality coming together with the practical, with the science. And as one who has spent a lifetime in 24/7 prayer, as much as I could, that no nuclear weapon would ever be used again, Nagasaki, may it be the last. I want you to know we can do this. It is not a matter of technology. If anything, our science has made it much more possible to dismantle nuclear weapons as soon as we want to reverse the trend that the world is in at this very moment. We can start and we can do it. and it is not a matter of technical problem. Jonathan well knows that in his work in Global Security Institute. So what we're doing tonight, to me, is the hope of the world. And I thank Chief Phil, so glad to meet you. Thank God when my father came back from Japan, he wanted to study psychiatry and neurology to help people with trauma. And we ended up in Kansas, so I was raised on Osage land. At least I know that from the kind of upbringing I had. And it meant a lot to me to be that close to the plains in Kansas. And that's not where my parents are from. But I was just so grateful to have the grounding of the nations of which you speak. So thank you for letting me speak from the bottom of my heart. Those of us who are finding each other as second and third generations of all kinds, we really need one another because it isn't easy to talk about this. It was very hard for me even to do my first speaking yesterday of this kind. So we appreciate your love and your support of us. And I'm really happy about the action piece because that's where I start to get joyful myself, but also the prayer piece. We're praying today for wisdom in action, and I'm praying for the courage for people to love. That's the prayer that I wrote for Nuclear Prayer Day. Because everyone here is really engaged in an act of courage to love. And courage to love takes far more bravery than it does to do anything else. It really does take courage. And I would like to make it easier, but you heard Chief speak of his understanding of the ancestors and relatives who are with us even now as we meet. Certainly, I know that I feel the presence of my father. And when I talked to my Habakasha friends from yesterday, we all found the same thing was true. When we shared from our hearts, we could still hear and see our family members speaking to us. And sometimes it brings us to tears, but most of all, it brings us love and peace, which is the source of all reality and the source of all life eternally. And we are one in a moment of sacred prayer today and through August 9 for Nagasaki. It's a little different in a way from what I might have planned to say, but those are the things on my heart tonight. I want to also say that I'm part of the Global Voices group. I spent a career that I thought I was leaving in nuclear safety and security, and then I met Bishop Swing at the Parliament of World Religions in Toronto. And a whole new life unfolded for what I thought would be retirement. And it is. I mainly volunteer. But boy, what a difference it made. I was invited to join the Voices for a Nuclear Weapons Free World. And that's the website you've already seen that Bill posted for you, voices-uri.org. But what I would add is, I think, and you'll see a lot of things from all of us on that website that are part of Voices. Exactly. And we're asking everyone to create your own prayers. I've been writing prayers of all kinds all month long. It's so much fun. Believe me, all kinds of prayers. Write some prayers with your kids. I want to say that about my dad. My dad was so age appropriate with me all the way through my life until I was old enough to study nuclear science for myself. And it saved my father a lot of painful discussions that I was reading some of the research and he didn't have to tell me firsthand. It's that bad. So Dad and I were partners. He lived much longer than most atomic veterans. He became blind early from high radiation exposure in Nagasaki, but he kept on in his work without being able to see very well and died eventually of leukemia, but at 93, which is also high radiation. My dad never had anything else wrong with him. He was a very healthy man. And I was blessed to have him as long as I did. But he told me before he died, he said, if I told you every story I could have told you because I asked him to. I said, we don't have a lot of time left, Dad, to keep telling me stories. And he finally said to me, if I told you every story I had from that war, it would only be the tip of the iceberg. So there's a lot of healing yet to do on our planet and in our world. Now, my happiness is we created Voices, and you don't have to watch it now, but I want you to know where it is. We created a video that fills a gap. If you go to, I looked it up on my website here, hold on. If you go to Voices Filmography, Resources and Filmography, the very first one that plays is created by Voices for children, for K through 12, for parents of children. So few people know anything about nuclear weapons, and they can be so scary. And again, my dad was great at how to tell us about these things in good ways. This is a great one too, the World Free of Nuclear Weapons music video, one of ours. Captain No Nukes is another one. So if you go to the filmography of our creations that Global Voices has done, you'll just see some wonderful, wonderful resources that are not scary, but yet they really make the points we're trying to all understand and make together to make this world a world of peace.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I've just put into the chat box the link to the videos, and thank you for the beautiful work and the heartfelt sharing. And I'm imagining that right now, the spirit of your father is very proud of you. And we give thanks to the greatest generation as they were known, and the incredible sacrifices that they made so that we can have the freedom that we have today. Now let's use that freedom. Let's use that abundance wisely. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge a beautiful brother who's with us. Hopefully he's still with us. I am now looking for John Raymer. There he is. John, you're on camera with me for a minute. I want to appreciate that John is quite a powerful voice for peace. Hopefully he'll be part of our roundtable. And I'm going to play a video that was very much inspired by John. John and his brother from another mother, Ben Bowler, are very much behind this incredible movement of 99 Days of Unity. And along with Kristen Hoffman, whom we all love and adore, the inspiration for a song came forward. And the song was so strong, but I said, we need to add some visuals. So my editing team, Alan and Son, added some visuals. So let's take a look again as an opportunity for us just to kind of relax a little bit here and drop into a beautiful video. So here we go with the Awakening World 99 Days of Unity video.
Are you old enough to remember the summer of love? If so, where were you? How did that impact you?
Let me tell you about the lie we've been living in for centuries, millennia. Say peace through domination's justifiable while building up the arsenal. All the sages and wise men of the ages were guiding us to look within ourselves. But the fear so divisive and the lies so enticing, we keep spinning this hell. Raise your eyes, you are the possibility. Nurturing love is the greatest remedy. 99 days of peace through unity. 99 days of peace through unity. 99 days of peace through unity.
An entire generation of baby boomers grew up with the influence of the Beatles, Woodstock, and the peace movement, and it shaped our lives.
Lift your voice.
And people are coming together once again to create a movement of unification.
Listen deep, and we'll all find harmony.
We are in the midst of another powerful summer, and it is the 99 Days of Unity. It began last month and will continue and culminate in September. And the Global Peace Tribe is collaborating with some of the most wonderful organizations to help all of us remember the power of peaceful unity, coming together.
99 days of peace through unity.
So join us every weekend on The Awakening World, where you'll be meeting leaders from the Evolutionary Leaders Network, World Unity Week, and other beautiful spiritual teachers, wisdom keepers, and luminaries, ranging from Reverend Michael Beckwith to the next generation, led by people like Adam Apollo and the Twin Ray. Join us every weekend on The Awakening World.
A powerful love force. We're coming together, stronger than ever, not divided. We come from the same source. A powerful love force. We're coming together. Hear the call, you are invited. We come from the same source. A powerful love force.
I love that so many of our friends know that song now. And so I saw A. Marie B. Thomas Brown started moving to it and Fumi started moving to it. It's pretty cool, John, don't you think?
Oh, it's fabulous. Really well done, Scott. And
yeah,
it's genius. It was Ben's inspiration of that riff. And it's actually, 99 days of peace through unity.
That's right. Thank you.
And I just say that to get our intention clear, right? That this is the Global Peace Tribe. And Scott, you are amazing. The way you care for everybody who comes on the show and make sure they're known and make sure what they're up to is appreciated. And we've got such a beautiful community here. But how are we going to make the changes that we need to make? We know
we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, bro.
We do. And I do, what Phil and the heart and spirit and with Jonathan's wisdom, we're not lacking anything. It's not like we don't know what we need to do. We just need to do it and show it. And I just want to point to that because it happened today as an example. It's happening right now. People may not be aware of this, but a couple of us noticed. Miranda sent a note out, there's been over 70,000 views of what we shared today. Wow. And Summer was making a wave of this show as we do every week. And if you look and see, you can see all of us together are rising up in unity in a way we haven't before. That's different. It's not just each of us with our amazing expressions of peace through unity, but it's what we can actually accomplish together that is blowing out the possibilities of what we thought. We need to see this game differently. We're in it together. And we are one. We know that. That's not the question. We don't need to say that anymore. We need to show it and be it. And we are. So let me just be clear. The alliance that we are, so many of us together are able to turn each of our expressions into a collective vision. We call these sine waves because they're going out and we're doing that together. And I'm so grateful to everybody who's willing to play that way. We have the abundance of trust, and with accountability and trust, we can build capability so that these great ideas and amazing innovators, like, look, with Jonathan, what he's saying, what a beautiful blend of understanding the tools needed to bring about the change at nation states level, but having the spirit that he has. But he's saying something that I think we should recognize. It's not like 1648 anymore, where when they got together then at Westphalia, the assumption was that we are where we're located. We're in territories. That's not true anymore. In fact, Barbara, you made that point. We're now, our values are bringing us together in this online world. And we don't know quite what to do with that, but we can find each other here and turn what we have into what we need to amplify not just the vision, but actually the action, the commitments and the coordination and the organization we need. So I am so grateful to everybody for playing along and willing to say, yeah, I'm in. And together we are better. And we're showing that. And that gives me hope. There's no limits to what we can do with this. So these convergences that we're doing, we've got one coming up. The 99 days was when we counted from the first day of World Unity Week in June to the last day of Peace Week. And we've got a platform that we're arriving to build our camp out on. It's called peacethrough.unity.earth. And maybe, Scott, you could just show that so people know that. And there you're welcome to come and share your genius and find each other and learn how do we weave our strategies together so we can turn what we have into what we need and draw from this inspiration, from this incredible community, but actually turn it into actions, right? So what's so good about this Mighty Networks thing, I'm a technology guy. Here's what's really good about this. The business model. It's not Facebook where they're turning you into a customer to sell ads because you're there. They have a different model and they have a lot of capabilities for how we can connect up here, but it's not motivated to get us angry with each other so they can sell more ads. That's a really important point. So you can learn how to navigate on that bar on the left. It shows you your feed in the center. You click on Discovery, it will show you how to, what to get doing to get you going here, a welcome checklist. But there's these circles. There's so many amazing people. We've got a couple like 300 people in here now already, Scott. And this is where we're going to weave together in anticipation for Peace Week and create synergy like we have never done before. And that's why I'm here, because I'm
going to use an example. This is something that I just discovered through this website on World Unity Week recently. And it's this incredible, the core needs. And I was so impressed with how that showed up. Now I'm clicking on it. It's not opening.
Click on it. No, you should be able to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm clicking. Yeah, it's funny. Little hand is there, but it's not letting me.
Well, click on the left. The topic's on the left. You see the navigation bar? Because that's
right.
Okay.
There we go. So yeah, this beautiful document about just, core needs and, to ensure all that. And it's beautiful. It's like, and then there's a whole discussion that took place around this. So that's just one of many things. Of course, the members, there are so many remarkable members, starting with John Raymer at the very top, of course. In the beginning, there was John, and it was good. But a lot of our friends, Teresa Collins, Julie Kroll, Arena, Dot Maver, these are all people you see. There's Chief Phil, Ben Bowler. These are all people you see on the Awakening World. Jan Golding, we're going to do a whole show with he and his wife, Shelley, next month. So this is a wonderful way for us to all connect. And thank you, John, for playing such a big role in helping us to understand how to do that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're really determined to use this incredible. I mean, look, what did they say? We're one miscalculation away from annihilation. Secretary General said that the other day. So
I want to bring, I just saw a note, I'm sorry, but Jonathan Granoff is on East Coast. He's been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, and he has something he wants to add before we lose him, before he turns into a pumpkin. Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Actually, I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. And we did the prayer service yesterday at the church center at the UN, and then I spoke in the General Assembly Hall, and then I did a Sufi meeting this afternoon, and then all of these prayer things all day. So I'm just starting to fade, and I wanted before I just turn into fudge, and forgive me, there was a simple action that I wanted to share that I thought, as a minimum, we should leave this with some taking. The poem is, "The heart without the hand withers. The hand without the heart is dangerous. When the heart and the hand come together with the wisdom of unity, then salt is turned to sugar. Tears of affliction, old age, sickness, death, betrayal, disappointment are turned into the sugar of love and service and liberation." So in that spirit, I wanted to suggest four things in the form of 4 questions. And these come from one of the hats I wear is I'm the senior advisor to the World Summits of Nobel Peace Prize winners, and I'm the representative to the UN of the winners of the Nobel Prize. And in one of our meetings, we wanted to give a general thing that everybody could do that we thought would be transformative. There were only 3 questions, but I'm going to add one for us. The 3 questions were, every political representative should be asked by all of us, because we don't need to tell them how to do it. They can find out from one of them. There's plenty of experts in nuclear disarmament. You saw them in the voices. That's an example of people who know the system. Well, first question, what are you doing to protect the climate? Because to protect the climate opens up economic change, opens up renewable energy, so many things. What are you doing to protect the climate? We care about that. 2, what are you doing to eliminate poverty? Never before in human history have we had the ability to eliminate poverty. We have the resources. It's a failure of political will. 3, what are you doing to eliminate nuclear weapons? Not whether you should or not, but what are you doing to get this sword away from our necks? And the 4th question for every one of us. So that's the questions we need to call up our congressman, call up our mayors, call up the head of your university, call up your senator, ask them, what are you doing on these 3 issues? These are issues that I care about, and I have networks of friends, and we're all going to ask you, what are you doing about these issues? And then we have to ask ourselves, what am I doing to find the source and highest love within myself and nurturing it with my commitments, with my intentions, and my actions? What am I doing to find the source of love within myself and bringing it into life and action? Now, that's a question that is very fulfilling because, and I promise you, if you ask that question with sincerity and be still, you will be gifted with an opportunity to bring it into action. That we don't have to do. The great giver of life itself has given us all the gift of love, and it has given us it will show the capacity to arrange your life such that that intention will be nurtured and fulfilled. But we have to have that intention to bring it into action. So thank you so much, Scott, for letting me share this. I'm going to stay around, but I was just concerned that I wouldn't have the clarity of energy to share those 3 questions. What are you doing to protect the climate? What are you doing to eliminate poverty? What are you doing to eliminate nuclear weapons? And what am I doing to find that pure love and bring it into action?
Thank you so much. I did scribble them all down and put them in the chat box. I didn't get the exact wording on the one for us, but I think I got the essence of it.
I think you're doing it.
No, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. And I want to say John Raymer is off to dinner. So I'm going to bring Brother John on just for a minute. Thank you, John. Again, the sine wave gets us out. That's how people right now are watching us on dozens of Facebook pages and groups because of the sine wave. So thank you, John. And thank you, your beautiful wife. And have a good dinner. It's getting pretty late. So.
There's so much potential here. It's that energy to unleash it. That's ours to do, unblock it. So let's use this anchor of Peace Week and the International Day of Peace this year to rise together like we haven't before.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, everybody, for willing to play. Thank you, Fumi. I love you so.
Love you too, John.
Bye for now.
So much.
Right, John. We are running about an hour later from the agenda, and I really want to thank your friend Jennifer you're about to introduce. And we will still get to the Global Peace Tribe announcements. But Jennifer's been patient, so let's hear from Jennifer, and then we'll go to Global Peace Tribe announcements.
Wow, what a convergence of love and unity and light. So this has been an incredible time together, and I'm so thrilled to bring on my dear friend Jennifer Kim. I've known Jennifer for a long time. We go back, way back. And her legacy starts from her father-in-law, who started the Peace School in Chicago. And, you know, they have such an incredible history. In fact, they have been organizing Peace Day in Chicago since, I believe it was, I had to jot it down, 1978. Can you imagine 1978? They were at the forefront. This is even before the International Day of Peace became the United Nations International Day of Peace in 1981. That's when the resolution was signed. So they were way before the wave, celebrating Peace Day in Chicago for all those years. And they have a beautiful event scheduled at the Daily Plaza, and I think maybe you'll be interested in that, Barbara, to attend if you're close enough to the Daily Plaza in downtown Chicago. Big, huge event involving the community, build the peace community, I believe, with the mayor's office, the diplomatic, what was it? The missions from different countries, schools. I mean, they involve so many people within the community to show up. So anyway, I'm not going to talk any further. Here's Jennifer Kim, and she's going to be offering and closing with peace breathing, which I think will be just the perfect way, Scott, to bring this to one step closer to our finale. So in a really beautiful way. So here's Jennifer Kim.
Thank you, my friend Fumi, and thank you, Scott. I'm happy to meet you and to be here with all these beautiful, beautiful people. And Fumi and I, like she said, we go way back, early 80s, I think, is when we met. And you know that Fumi is the executive director of May Peace Prevail on Earth International. And the message, May Peace Prevail on Earth, is that simple message that we all can understand. And peace poles are all over the world, and anybody can walk by and receive that message and just know that goes right to their heart, right? And so the founder of May Peace Prevail on Earth, she spoke about Masahisa Goi, authored that in Japan so many years ago after the war. And the founder of the Peace School was from Korea. And he lived through war, of course. He lived through many things in Korea, but he also researched deeply about the history, not only of Korea, but he was a martial art grandmaster as well as a meditator, yoga master as well. Regained his health through his own practice of yoga when he was young. But he wanted to know the origin of martial art. What was the purpose? He knew it had to do with peace. And he found an ancient system that included martial art practice so that we become strong in mind and body in order to create world peace. He knew that martial art practice was not just this inner peace or some kind of, simple way of thinking peace. It was about world peace. And he left the country he loved. He loved Korea. But he came to the United States in the early 70s because he felt if world peace is ever going to occur, this is the place where it could start, because we're made up of every culture and every country and every race and every language. So he left it all behind. He got on a plane with a little bit of money, met somebody on the plane who helped him, one of those kind of stories. That was his life. And I had the just super good fortune in the 70s to walk into this class. I didn't really know what it was about, and it was taught by that founder. And the very first thing he said was, he had a thick accent, right? Fumi remembers. And the very first thing he said was, if you can't understand what I'm saying, try to understand through vibration. So I'm like, what is this? It was just, wow. And you could just feel that energy of peace that he emanated. And so, like, may peace prevail on earth. He sought for decades to come up with something that would give people the energy and experience of meditation, but something that all of us could practice, not just those who are devoted to spending time to meditate, but how could we bring this to everybody? And what finally came to him was peace breathing. Peace breathing. It's so simple. We inhale world and we exhale peace. We inhale world and exhale peace. So we do it as a meditation, but we do it as moving meditation, right? We're always breathing. So it means that we can always create and generate that energy of peace. We're storing it in our own energy, right? With every breath we take. And we're building breath by breath by breath that energy for world peace. And because it's so simple, anybody can do it, right? We all breathe. So we have programs for children, for seniors. Back in the 70s, he started a program in nursing homes, simple exercise and peace breathing and light massage. It's so simple, but it was the core of creating Peace Day here, like Fumi said. It was his idea. One day he just said, that was the year I joined the Peace School in 1978. We're having a meeting, and one day he said, oh, we're not doing, what we planned. We're going to create Peace Day in Chicago. We're like, okay. And we did. And the core of it is that minute for peace. And we work with schools. Since 2008, we provided materials to every Chicago public school to do some type of positive action for peace on the International Day of Peace. And that includes a suggested activity that we provide, which is peace breathing. So simple. But what he taught us and what all of us here understand is that energy, that's where it starts. We have to shift the energy first. Those answers are there, like we all know. So rather than hear me blab on, I'll just share some peace breathing. Why don't we do that together? If you like, you can close your eyes. And we begin to feel the movement of our breathing and let the breath slow down as we breathe. We let peace fill our hearts and minds and flow throughout our bodies, down to each cell. With each breath, we let peace expand, filling your room, touching your family and friends. Peace expanding through your community, expanding widely through your country and all countries, permeating all of nature. With each breath, we send peace to the entire world. Breathe in, world. Breathe out, peace. Inhale, world. Exhale, 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 peace. Try a few more times. Peace, relax. I want to say thank you. I am so grateful to be able to share this gift from Grandmaster Kim, my late father-in-law. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Isn't it interesting how these shows come together? We all have different guests, and there's this theme of people's fathers. I think we've had 4 different people speak with beautiful compassion and connection to the influence of their father tonight. It's an interesting theme that's emerged. And so I just want to acknowledge the beauty of that. And I also want to acknowledge your website, thepeaceschool.org. I've put it into the chat box, of course, but this is where we can learn more about this beautiful place. And oh, there she is, Jennifer and Master Charles Kim. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Your 50th anniversary. So definitely, I'm going to want to get in touch. And again, everybody, always remember, fill it in so she can, I have to say a message. I'll say namaste. How's that? I prefer leaving a message than the CAPTCHA thing where I have to find out how many fire hydrants are the tiny little pictures. So thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. We've talked about the Peace Bowls tonight, and I want to share with you the best gift I've gotten in years. And it was when I got a peace pole from Fumi. And there I am with my peace pole. And it really is the best gift I've gotten in so long. And you can see how excited I am. I put it right out on my street corner so as people drive by, there's no doubt that the Global Peace Tribe is here. So I just wanted to say thank you again, Fumi. And God bless her. she had to send it to me 3 times because the first time I was traveling and I wasn't there to sign for it. And the second time I was traveling and I wasn't there to sign for it. And the post office didn't want to hold on to this gigantic package. They didn't know what it was. They probably thought it was a rocket launcher or something. So Fumi, God bless you for sending it to me 3 times I finally got it. Thank you.
Bless 3 times over, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now we're going to have a little roundtable conversation, but I do want to get to the Global Peace Tribe announcements. A big part of the Global Peace Tribe is supporting all of our friends. And it's wonderful. We met Omashar, and now he's our house musician. And one of our dear friends is Alan Steinfeld from New Realities. You've seen him on my show. We've collaborated. He's been a co-host. And Alan always puts all the Awakening World shows on his YouTube channel. So it's another wonderful way that people reach us. He's also the author of Making Contact and just did a great 5-episode series with Deborah Giusti, the co-founder of Global Peace Tribe. So, Alan, you got something special to tell us about?
Well, I think one way to get peace is to realize, of course, that we're one planet and we're one people. And we really don't have that perspective until we meet the beings that inhabit the cosmos. We're not a freak of nature. Life is abundant throughout the cosmos, and that's what the program me and Deborah Giusti have put together. But the other thing is the earliest, the atomic bomb was an awful thing, and the earliest appearances of UFOs were in 1945 around the Trinity site where the first atomic weapons were tested. And then, of course, some people think atomic weapons actually blow a hole in time and space, and that's why these beings have shown up. So it's not just peace for our planet, but it's peace for all the neighboring beings that inhabit our collective consciousness. So that's just one thing that's, peace is emanating from this planet or not from this planet throughout the cosmos. So we just have to pay attention. We're part of a greater community. So Deborah and I put together this series, and I'll show you a little trailer from that. And it's been a beautiful show, Scott, and thank you for letting me be here. So I'm just sharing my screen and sound here. It's a little Global Peace Tribe. And this is, you see that, Scott?
Yep. And mute yourself because there's a lot of noise in your background.
I know. Sorry. I'm out. Okay. From deep in outer space to the planet Earth, to the red rocks of Sedona, to our online community here, comes a time, a message, a special series on making contact.
There is no better time for making contact. I'm George Norrie, host of the national radio show Coast to Coast AM. Alan Steinfeld has put together a well-conceived collection that covers it all.
Thanks, George, for that introduction. This is Alan Steinfeld, the editor and author of Making Contact, which is a collection of writings of the best and brightest people in the field of ufology. The Making Contact series is a collection of some of these fantastic contributors to my book. People like Whitley Strieber, Linda Moulton Howe, Carolyn Corey, Adam Apollo, Mary Rodwell, and such contactees as Marina Sarin and Kamara Jones and the Art of Kamara Jones, plus some very special surprises in the field. The Making Contact series is presented by Alan Steinfeld and New Realities, Deborah Giusti and the Global Peace Tribe, in association with Neil Gar, Portal to Ascension, and Star Family Wisdom. George, any final comments?
Someday, somehow in the future, the conflicts that have plagued our species for eons will come to an end. And by making contact, we will take our rightful place among the stars.
Exactly. That's all I want to contribute. We need to look at the much bigger picture here, Scott, because peace is not just local. It's not just planetary. It's cosmic. It's an extension of consciousness. So thank you for the opportunity and beautiful show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you. So So another incredibly important announcement is tomorrow, August 7th, is the day that we've set aside for the memorial for our beloved soul sister, Celestine Starr, who passed away on July 4th. Probably most of you know by now, we've talked about it a few times, but Celestine was an incredible friend. I knew her for decades. We shared birthdays together. She was December 24, I'm December 25. So we had multiple birthday parties over the years. And there are two ways that I'm hosting online events to celebrate Celestine tomorrow. First is going to be my Sacred Sunday show, which is always at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. And I'm going to actually be at the location where the memorial is happening in the Marin Art and Garden Center. I'm going to get there at 9:30 in the morning, get set up, interview some of the people coming in, including Celestine's daughter. And then Linda Starwolf is going to lead a shamanic breath practice tomorrow to help us really drop in and connect to the spirit of Celestine. And a lot of people have been feeling and connecting Celestine, and tomorrow is a big day for her spirit. So we're going to all connect to her. And that'll be tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And then there'll be a little break, go get some brunch. And then at 1:30 will be the actual start of the memorial. Now we're limiting it to 200 people live. So for those of you all over the world who want to participate, we are going to have a special online event, special online version of this. And it's free. You're all invited to watch. But I do need people to register. It's important for you to register so that you can get the unique, because it's a unique feed. It's a unique Zoom webinar tomorrow. So that's tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific time. I will put into the chat box the link to join us. Of course, if you've already registered for the Awakening World, you have a link for tomorrow morning, but for tomorrow afternoon, you need to get a link. So there you have it. Thank you very, very much. And I am now going to turn it over to our beloved brother, Omashar, for some music. Because I think it's time for a little more music. Hey, pal.
Sometimes it feels so hard to move along, saying goodbye to yesterday. Take heart, my friends, there is a new song bringing us back to our homeland. When something troubles you, just call out my name. I am the one who loves you. Be still within. Hear what I say and give me the chance to be with you. We are one heart, one mind, one soul, working together to heal. And there are no walls between us now. It's a celebration of union. So when you're feeling down and on your own, take a look around. I am in everything. Give me your burden, walk into my arms. I will lift you up, I will hold you. We are one heart, one mind, one soul, working together to heal. And there are no walls between us now. It's a celebration of union. ones who hear the new voice calling us home to freedom. Fear not, my friends, this is a new place full of new joys and happiness. Yes, we are one heart, one mind, one soul, working together to heal. And there are no walls between us now. It's a celebration of union. Woof.
Oh, beautiful, beloved Omashar, thank you so much. And you know, a wonderful way to support our artists is Bandcamp. And Omashar is on Bandcamp, just as Fanny and Vigari, who we're going to hear from in a little while, on Bandcamp. And that's a wonderful way. And just go to omashar.bandcamp.com. And that's
Thank
where
you.
And do what I did, see how I'm following him. So it's always important to follow our artists. And Omashar, of course, will be with us tomorrow morning for the Sacred
sir.
Sunday show. And Omashar, make sure, I've got to talk to you a little bit about tomorrow morning because it's going to be a little unique. And thank you so much. And yes, somebody asked to see Jasmine Bear. So here's the Jasmine Bear appearance for you, Mary, and all of our friends who want to see her. She's getting a little sleepy, but she's good. We just got back from a very big 2-month road trip. So we got in some good travels. All right. For me, I think obviously it's already 9 o'clock, but I'd love to invite some of our guests that are still with us. And I'm just going to bring them on camera. I see Jennifer is still with us. I saw Chief Phil. There he is. Okay. Phil is still with us. And Otani is still with us.
Tez. I saw Tez. Oh.
Take a look. Oh, Barbara Newsom is still with us.
Barbara's here. Tezekiah's here.
I'm looking for him.
Tez.
Oh, Tez, where have I passed her? There she is. I passed you. I so apologize. And also Keiko is still with us. So this is kind of an opportunity for us just to express anything that maybe you wanted to add. And maybe Tez, I wanted you to talk a little bit more about Pathways to Peace. You know, we kind of named this show Remembering Hiroshima and Discovering Our Pathways to Peace. And of course, I was inspired by your organization. We, of course, took a little bit of a look at it. But anything else that you, Chief Phil, any of the people that we see on camera here want to share? Inspirations, information, and I'm just going to let anybody who wants to speak.
Well, I guess I can begin. I was absolutely delighted that you named the show Pathways to Peace. Of course, of course. And I guess I want to thank you for that. And of course, at Pathways to Peace, we always say that everyone is a pathway to peace. Doesn't matter what your discipline is, what your background is, what your experience is, what your race, your culture, ethnicity is. Doesn't matter where you've come from. You are a pathway to peace, which is kind of what this show has been about, is recognizing, and this day has been about, and what we're about is recognizing that we are all one, as it's been stated over and over and over again. And that it takes all of us to raise the consciousness for peace to prevail on earth. And I won't say any more than that because we have very talented speakers, but I will end my little piece by saying the question that I ask myself every day, and those Pathways to Peace team members who surround me and lift me up and support me, is what is it going to take? We know it's not about education anymore because we have all of the information. We have all of the knowledge. And what keeps coming back to me is this piece about the need to raise consciousness, because it's about changing hearts and minds. And so I think that's going to break down. I think Jennifer's peace breathing is an example of a daily practice, a simple daily practice. Our peace wave, which is at 12 noon at every day, that is just a pause to hold peace, envision peace. The global silent moment, whatever it takes, those simple practices in our daily lives when we're actively pursuing peace, we often don't take time to go into meditation or to even pay attention to our own inner peace, nurturing our own inner peace. So we just need to carve out enough time for us to nurture our inner peace and to bring that inner love and light that we all carry out into the world. That's what is going to move the needle for peace, I believe. So thank you.
Beautifully stated. And again, one last time, the organization is pathwaystopeace.org. Please go spend some time there. Listen to what Avon had to say, her original vision. I love the peace wheel. And there's just a lot here. So pathwaystopeace.org. And thank you, Tez, for being with us and for your dedication and you playing your role in this world so beautifully.
Thank you, Scott. You are just a perfect example of a light being doing the work to increase consciousness, as others in this
Everybody,
room now are as well.
I'm going to go to gallery view. Look at all these beautiful,
I know.
emanations of the one divine, eternal beloved. You know,
Yes.
I mean, look at all these beautiful, beautiful souls. And turn on your cameras, everybody. There we go. We want to see you all. Oh, look at these beautiful, beautiful souls. I'm going to put the spotlight on Chief Phil because he just always brings so much love and so much passion. Phil, anything you'd like to close us out with tonight?
Yes. I think, first of all, to really understand the depths of our soul, that each one of us is the spiritual representative of all that have gone before us, And with that comes the understanding of the prior unity, meaning that from the very beginning of time, we have been one. And we're in the process of coming back to understand that. But each of us is the representative of all that have gone before us. Therefore, right now, here and now, it's up to us on behalf of all those that have gone before us on this plane of existence, on this plane of time and space, because we have a dimension of ourselves that goes beyond time and space. That's our soul. But between us, first means we have to cleanse and purify our own hearts. Any kind of, whether it's love that will blindly lead us away from the truth, or it's hatred. We've got to find that place within us to see the beauty of our inner being, not this earth suit. Earth suit goes pretty fast. In fact, Crowfoot said it perfectly. He said, life's like the breath of a buffalo on a cold day, or a firefly on a warm summer night, or the shadows vanishing before the setting sun. That's the one. Then I think that it's, again, from that, I believe the foundation of this truly is understanding that we are one human family, which means to me, in the sacred teaching, it says we must not rest. We must not rest until we make everybody we know a brother, a sister, a mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandmother, niece, nephew, son or daughter. When we make everybody we know that way, we'll know exactly how to treat them. Exactly how to treat them. And I think that to also to know that we are already, not the prophecies that are going to be fulfilled, are being fulfilled here and now. 2022 is the pivot year. From here, we're going to see it grow and 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 grow. And I believe it's so important as well. I only would say this, that to truly realize that every member of our human family, every member is a sovereignty, ancient and perishable and everlasting, created by our great, great creator, every one of us. We got to see that. We have to know and understand as well that partisan politics is not going to get us there at all. It's not going to. Tearing down each other. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to be a spiritual path. That means we've got to rid ourselves of an eye for an eye, for a tooth, which, by the way, any of these things I'm not innocent of, certainly. And for me, somebody hurt my family in my past days, probably, I'm getting rid of that part, giving the old warrior to a wise elder. It wasn't just an eye for an eye. I'd take two eyes and two eyes and two teeth for everyone taken against me. That's how I felt about what happened here, because we're no different. After Custer came, let's give you an example. And here we were peacefully together having a Sundance, and they promised us they wouldn't come. And so obviously, when you're attacking a village of women and children and so forth, disobeying the other orders to come do this, and then we might say, give them an arrow shirt, so to speak. I don't say that. I wouldn't say that in a hurtful way. But after that, the U.S. Congress, just like we're doing, by the way, exactly in Yemen, passed the Starve or Surrender Act, at which time, from a 60 million buffalo that we depended on, reduced to 1,000. And we were starved to death. And that's why right now, and I understand fully about nuclear weapons. I mean, it's just now that's getting our attention. But how about right now? And truly, 400,000 children in Yemen are that close to starving. The CNN came out with an article, I have to say, I have to appreciate it. I just happened to see it tonight. I knew this was happening, but to see these little children is happening all over Mother Earth. And yet the oil companies, petroleum companies are making record profits. But we are understanding, as we go to the grocery stores and we try to fill our fuel, that the hurt of one is a hurt of all. But at the same time, the upliftment, the inspiration, the honor of one is the upliftment, inspiration, honor of all. So that's what I'd like to share and to say thank you. Thank each and every one. Thank you, Scott, so much. Thanks you for and all who and Jay Meyer who supports this moment of peace and who supported this, all the relatives, whoever we are, those that we in the unseen world, because they're closer in our closest vein. It's the one thing to remember, that there is no death, meaning that every one of these sovereignties, ancient and perishable, from the beginning of time, are right here, including those relatives who are beginning to join us from other places. Because we know, our old people tell us, the ancient teaching, for every fixed star has its fixed planets in which there's life beyond understanding. So we're full of a universe of life. And I look forward, let's see, we're going to unify our human family in war and begin peace on earth by 2030. It's just the beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much too. Thank you. Each and every one of you here, all the beautiful music. Oh. If I could grab this computer and just put it in my soul, I would right now. So I feel. I hope.
And a reminder again that I'm so excited that Chief Phil is going to be with us next Friday night on The Awakening World, Understanding Epigenetics, as we honor 7 generations past and forward. And you'll also enjoy meeting Krista. And Trish is back. Trish took 6 weeks off, traveled, vacationed, did wonderful things, and she'll be back next Friday night. So it's going to be a special awakening world. Phil, you talked about honoring our beings that are not in body anymore. And again, just a reminder to everybody that tomorrow's going to be a very special day as we honor Celestine Star. And that sister is with us, and you're going to feel her. So again, if you haven't registered yet, make sure you register so you can get the link. It's free. And I'm honored to be honoring the live stream for that. All right. Is there anyone else who has anything that a burning thing to share? I'm going to Gallery View. Otherwise, we will close out with Fanny and Vigari playing some music. Anything else? Going once, going twice, going straight to Fanny and Vigari, who, by the way, I do got to say this, we discovered during the sound check that they live 3 blocks from Chief Phil, right? I mean, how outrageous is that? I'm going to put Phil back on for a minute. They live 3 blocks from Phil. And they're both on the show today. They're both in the sound check, and they discovered they're 3 blocks away from each other. There's got to be some cosmic significance to that.
My wife and I and my beloved son just walked by where they live. But they're right at the end of Goggs, G-O-G-G-S. Who wouldn't really got that name? Anyway, at the end of our street, we run right into the street they live on.
Yes,
amazing.
The big white land there with the rainbows, and our number was 1111. So we felt your love. This neighborhood is so magical. There's a magic of life in this little white rock space, really close to the border. There is really magical place to be. Now we are in Toronto, in the big city, and we are here to shine our light and to be strong, and to thank you, Chief, for your inspiration tonight. It was so strong. My heart
Very
felt
moving words.
It was amazing how it felt so deep, so strong to continue shining our light and speaking the truth and waking up the people. And that's what I did last weekend. There was this huge Caribbean festival here in Toronto, 100,000 people, and I wore my beautiful divine rainbow fool outfit, and I shared the light. It was very magical to be part of this journey, and thank you for your support, and thank you for this amazing. And this one is called Crystal Light. Is to remember that we are messengers of the stars. About to hit the road. The song is about remembering who we are. Remember, you're the messenger of the stars. Remember. Stardust, gold dust, gold light, connecting to our divine divinities, beauty within stardust. We are the dreamers. We are the dreamers. We are the dancers. We are the dance, dance, dance. We are reawakening. We are remembering. We are remembering that love, 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 love is the sacred dance. That love, love, love can make the world go round. Can make the world go remember you're a messenger. Sing with us. You are a messenger. We are the lovers. Yes, you are. Listen, we are the love, love, love. We are the singers. We are the song. We are the creators. Here we are to create a better world. Here we are. Just remember, you are messengers of the stars. Remember, you are la la ma ya la ma ya la la. You ma ya ya la lo lo. You are la ma ya la ya la ya la la. You're stardust, gold dust, gold light. We are water, water. I reach to the other side and we're sending our love to Hiroshima, to India. Oh, there is over Mama Gaia. Here we are, messengers of the stars. Remember who you you messenger. We are awakening. We are remembering. We are remembering that love, love, love is to dance. Love is to remember who we are. Love, 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 love is you and I. Remember Thank you for the tickles. We're keeping up our ways. Thank you.
Thank you so much for helping us remember who we are. It's a beautiful, beautiful, perfect song. And Fumi, thank you for being a wonderful co-host and helping to invite so many of these wonderful people. Tez, I'll bring you on one more time. Thank you so much for your incredible work with Pathways to Peace, your beautiful meditation. Beautiful brother Phil, thank you for your passion and just the way you speak from the heart, whether you're laughing or crying. And sometimes I can't tell if you're laughing or crying. But whatever comes out, it's great. We love it. And thank you so much, Kiko, coming all the way from Hiroshima, still being with us. Our beloved Omashar. Oh my God, we love you so much, Omashar. Thank you so much. Jennifer Kim, welcome to the Awakening World. And we have room for, good. And here's Barbara. So thank you, everybody. And of course, thank you to all the people that watch. And remember, share it out, share these shows out. Let's build our audience. Please take it, share it out, send out to your friends on Facebook, send people to our YouTube channel. Every one of these shows is so important, and I want more people to watch. Take care, everybody. Have a good night's rest, and we'll see you tomorrow for Celestine Star Day. God's blessings. I go to gallery view. There we go. Good night, everybody. And Mystic Abbott Cherry was with us too. How wonderful.